This lesson is Powers of 10, Multiplication and Division. It requires board number 6, the calculator, which is optional, and the dry erase markers and the cloth. What we're going to learn about is we're going to learn how to do multiplication and division of powers of 10. First thing we're going to do is we're going to multiply a number with a base 10 and a positive exponent. So we're going to place our first number in the bottom row, 2.45, 2 and 45 hundredths. And we're going to multiply by 10 to the exponent 2. So when we multiply by a positive exponent with a base 10, we're going to move the decimal place 2 places to the right. So we can take this number and move it up to the next row, and we can move the decimal place 2 places to the right, which now makes the number 245. So we'll always use the first row here to put our original number, and after we've transformed it or multiplied it by the base 10, we can put it in the row above. The new answer becomes 245. Alright, so that was a decimal number. The next step we can take is we can do a whole number. We'll start off with 345, and we'll multiply that by the same base and exponent, 10 to the exponent 2, which is equal to 100. So we'll take 345, and in this case we cannot move it 2 places to the right without adding additional placeholders. So we'll put 0 in, and now we have 2 extra zeros, which transforms the number to 34500, and if we write that on the top number, it becomes 34,500. We can do the same thing, except we can multiply by base 10 with a negative exponent, which is actually the inverse. So 10 to the negative 1 is actually the same as 1 over 10. So in this case, we're going to start off with the number 456, and we're going to multiply by 10 to the negative 2. So in this case, instead of moving the decimal place to the right, we're going to move it left because the exponent is negative. So here we take the decimal and we move it over 2 places, and now the number becomes 4 and 56 hundredths. We can do the same thing with the second example, 94, and if we want to multiply that by 10 to the negative 3, we just move the decimal place 1, 2, 3. Notice that we're missing a placeholder, so we add a 0. And so we can put that up here in this second row from the bottom, is 0 and 94 thousandths. Now we're going to move from multiplication to division. So if we take the original number, 345, and we divide by 10 to the second, that's like dividing by 100, which means the number is going to get smaller. And when you divide, if the exponent is positive, we move the decimal to the left. So now we have 3.45 as our final answer, which is 3 and 45 hundredths. Finally, the last thing we'll do in today's example is we're going to take a number and divide it by a base 10 with a negative exponent. So we'll start off with 2 and 13 hundredths, and we'll divide by a negative exponent. Well, this is the same as dividing by 1/100th, which is the same as multiplying by 100. So in this case, when we divide by a negative exponent with a base 10, we're going to move the decimal place 2 to the right, which makes the new number 213. This is how you use board number 6 to multiply and divide powers with base 10.